Okay, so my liberal progressive friends, what's the plan? That's what I want to know. I want to know what's the plan. Because now you've successfully created a white identity. I don't think you can deny that that's on the agenda of the mainstream liberal left. A white identity based on feeling guilty about the bad things that white people have done in the past and trying to make amends for the wrongs done to non-white people by white people in the past, and a grouping of white people according to privilege, saying that you're white, you're privileged, and someone says, well, I don't feel privileged, I work a low-income job with no, get back into the group, get back into the white group. You're privileged and also a racist. Well, I don't feel like a racist. I don't have anything against any race of people. Well, it doesn't matter. You're white, so that means you're a racist. Get back in the white group. Get in the white group. Well, really? Because I had black friends growing up. Oh, you had black friends, huh? Oh, well, that sounds just like a thing that a racist would say. You having black friends doesn't excuse you for the racism of being white. Get back in the white group. It's so creating. Now, I really would like to see how someone could deny that. I don't know how someone could create an argument to say that mainstream liberal culture is doing everything it can to create a white identity and then also to label that identity as negative. You can't be... First of all, if you look like you have European heritage, you can't say, I'm not white, I'm Irish. You can't say that. You can't say that. You are forced into the group. And then once you're there, you have to take on all this group blame and group guilt for things that people did generations ago, people that you never met. Generations ago, what they did, you have to then take on the guilt for that. Now, you're the only group that has to do that. There are no other groups that have to do that. If you're Japanese, you don't have to take on, let's say you're Japanese American, you don't then have to take on the responsibility for the atrocities committed by Japanese people generations ago in China, only if you're white. So, it seems like the modern progressive left is their plan, it seems to me, to get past race and to get past identity is to hyper focus on race. I don't understand that. I don't get it. Can someone explain that to me? I don't understand how that's going to work. Now, you might know who Richard Spencer is. Richard Spencer is he actually coined the phrase alt-right. And he was recently, a couple months ago, he was talking to and giving an interview on the street, and someone came up and punched him in the face. And the mainstream liberal media, I'm talking mainstream, Guardian, and other mainstream outlets, were cheering the person who punched him in the face. I had never really listened to Richard Spencer before, but I see a guy giving an interview being punched in the face and mainstream media cheering it. I want to know what is this all about? And so I looked at Richard Spencer, and apparently he's the guy who coined the term alt-right. And when he was asked to define the alt-right in a sentence, he said just one word. The word you need is identity. Identity. That is his definition. The main thing with the alt-right is identity. So, I remember when I was a kid, the white identity groups, skinheads, KKK, whatever, they were the fringe of the fringe. Nobody even gave them the time of day. You would hear there was like a KKK barbecue 5 towns over and people would roll their eyes. It was nothing. And now it seems like it's growing. And it's growing because if you are told again and again that you are this identity, and you can only identify negatively with this identity, right? You're to blame. You're to blame. You're privileged. You're racist. Literally, look it up. You can find people saying that. Universities are absolutely sick with this, man. And so if you're told this again and again, and then you've got Richard Spencer, who comes in saying, that's not the case. These people are against you. They're your enemy. You need to bend. You need the white identity. You need to join us. We're your family. We're your extended family. You're not bad. You didn't do anything wrong. It's these people who are against you. So I watched videos with Richard Spencer, and I don't agree with Richard Spencer. I don't want to live with only other white people. That's not what I want. But when you see him, you're going to see someone who's always very calm, with rational arguments, who presents himself in a very dignified way. And the people who oppose him come off as raving lunatics, shouting, not engaging with him, just shouting at him, attacking him. How do you think that makes him look? I don't know, progressive left. What do you think? I think the big deal made about punching him in the face was probably the biggest boon to his movement that he ever had. So when I see these white identity groups growing, I'm not surprised in the smallest little bit. Do you really think that you would be able to create a negative identity for a majority group in a country and expect that that majority group is going to identify with, to accept this negative identity where they are inherently racist and privileged regardless of the details of their life? Do you think that's going to work? I don't think it is. I think the way to move past race and identity is to utterly not focus on it at all. Treat people as individuals. When I'm talking with online or in person with my friends, almost every one of my friends is very, very left-leaning. I'm left-leaning. I can see the insanity brewing on the left. But when they're talking to me, friends, colleagues, it's like they're not even talking to me. They're talking to stereotypes that they have in their head about how I was born. They're talking to a generic white male in their imagination who has perfect teeth and lives in a mansion. And then they're talking to me as if I'm that person. I have to be like, whoa, hold on a second. You and I work in the same place. We get paid the same money. What are you talking about? The wage gap. I actually had a woman who worked with me at a school, and at that school, this was not in the United States, female teachers were paid more at starting salary, more because they were women. They were harder to find female teachers. And that's fine. I never complained about it. She told me that I had to check my male privilege because of the wage gap. I know she made more money than I did when we worked together. She knows she made more money than I did when we worked together based on her gender. And she asked me to check my male privilege. They're not talking to me. They're not talking to me. They're talking to the white identity. And as long, progressive leftists, as long as you keep pushing this white identity, all you are doing is feeding into the white nationalists. You're feeding into the alt-right. That's all that you're doing. If you think that you're going to succeed in creating a negative guilt identity on the majority population of a country, and they're going to accept that, you have lost your mind. You have completely lost your mind. And there's no helping. The more truly liberal people who truly want to do away with racism and prejudging others based on how they were born have to unite. Thank you for listening.